Hey guys, welcome back. This is Liz Foggerland with Olive Branch Studios. Today, my plan is to practice my trees. Why practice? Well, because practice does make you better. It doesn't make you perfect. I know my mom always said that. Not necessarily. You're still going to get the ones that you dislike. I have practiced trees for about 2 years, and they are not my strong point. And yet I practice them. Do they look authentic? Do they look like a totally realistic tree? No, they don't. But they have gotten better with practice, and that's what it takes. I did a bigger version of my tree, and I absolutely hated it because, I don't know, they look better small. I'm practicing these trees, big, small, you name it. I've been out there with them. This is probably my favorite one so far, right here. Made them on a bookmark. I don't know why, but it was a small version of it. And sometimes when we do small, we don't feel as afraid to paint because you just don't have this giant canvas to try and fill up. So it makes it a little bit easier. You're not as afraid of it all. Okay, so what I want to do today is go over some tree basics with you. And again, practice myself. And this is one of my practice books. I think it's a Strathmore practice book. It's a watercolor, specifically for watercolor. So it's heavier weight paper. I don't think it's cotton, but it is 140 pounds. And I have my Princeton Neptune, not Princeton Neptune, Aqua Elite. And I'm using some sap green and just a light, I don't know if it's burnt umber. I think it's burnt umber. I'm horrible with my colors. When they differ, it's a light brown color. So here's how we're going to start off. I'm going to grab just a little bit, and I'm not going to make a giant tree first. I don't know if I'll make a giant one at all, but I'm going to start off small. I'm going to make a rather tall stick, okay? And I'm going to kind of enhance the trunk a little bit at the base, simply because, and here's why. When I have made trees in the past, especially evergreen trees, I tend to bring them all the way down. Not all of them are like that by any stretch. A great deal of them end about halfway down. So I want to enhance this a little, make it bigger, simply so I don't go all the way down with it. It's my eye, the way my eye catches it, and I stop there, I hope. So what I did make this a little bit wider, same color brown, and then I'm going to go in and drop some darker brown just along the edges of it to kind of make it blend, look more barky like real tree bark. Okay. Now, with some water on my brush, I'm going in and getting some sap green, and my paint is, I don't know, probably 30% paint and 70% water. So it's pretty watery. And all I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to start off little at the top and just kind of make wiggly lines back and forth, just like this. Okay. And bring it down a little bit more, a little bit farther out each time. Okay. Depending on what kind of size you want. Can you bring it down farther on the trunk? You bet. There we go. So see, he's not looking too bad. It is kind of watery on that one. And you can go in and pick up some of the extra water with your paintbrush and just wipe it on a paper towel like that. You don't want a whole lot of extra water because it will dry funky. You'll have blooms. Now, this looks decent. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to pick a darker green, like a perline green, I think is what I have. And I'm going to go in on the underside with just a little bit of that perline green to give it that shadow effect. You know, where the sun is being blocked out on the bottom. And I'm going to do that to the underside of each part there. And you can, anywhere on the tree you think the sun isn't going to hit, you're going to put that darker, shadowy look to it. Yeah, I just sloshed my water a little bit. Okay. And you can go back in with a drier brush and kind of tap it and distribute it a little bit more so it doesn't look so blunt. There we go. Looking good. And it's going to have a little bit of a blurry effect, like a tree in the distance. Now, I know it's just a tree, but if you want to work on shadows, you can go in with a little bit of that trunk color or the green and just swipe across the bottom there for a shadowy look. Okay? Pretty simple. We can do that on a larger scale, however you want to do it. Now my other trees, what were the other trees I did? The bigger trees. Let's roll back here real quick. This tree on the left, this isn't my favorite tree. This isn't my favorite tree. Why do we practice? So we get better at making trees. Because Liz doesn't have a lot of confidence when it comes to trees. So with that tree, I start with the trunk. Okay. I'm still making just a straight line, but the exception here is I'm going to pivot off and I'm just barely using the tip of my brush when I come up. Just kind of hold your brush loosely and pull up and kind of let it go where it goes, okay? Because you don't want, that one's kind of stiff. You don't want real stiff looking branches, although branches are stiff, but you want them to look like the wind is going to blow them a little bit here and there, right? And just kind of everywhere. They don't have to be perfect. You don't want them perfect, okay? So just kind of all over there. And then what I have is an old acrylic brush. I know it's an acrylic brush. It's not the end of the world. And I snipped the ends of it off. So there's no point. There's no point to it. Ha ha ha. So what I'm going to do here, I got to get it good and wet. And I'm going to use that same sap green that I used over here. And I literally am just going to splatter, maybe not the right word, but just kind of, yeah, splatter. Give it that splatter effect all over. And try not to make it perfectly round. This is also where I screw up. I want to make it the round tree. How many really are like that? And you'll see them kind of sparse where there's not leaves everywhere. So try to remember that too. And if you have really watery spots, you can dab all that off. So look, I splashed it. I took it really serious. Good assignment. So you want to get that tree effect there, okay? Or tree effect, the leaf effect. Now, same thing, we want to have some shadows here. You're not going to have a tree where there, even when it's cloudy outside, there's undersides of trees that are just darker because that's the way light works. So same thing, I'm going to grab some of that perline green and I'm going to go and kind of, like if my sunshine's coming over here or cloud of day, I'm just going to put some on the spots that aren't really going to see as much sunlight, okay? And I am literally just going up and down with my brush. Nothing, I don't know what the right word is there. Nothing really planned out for this little tree. So he's looking really good, except for where I splashed green paint here. But you know what? Let's see if this works. You should be able to just take regular water and we'll make it go away. I need a paper towel. So we can make a lot of that just go bye-bye. because it's water. So then we have this cute little tree. Okay. I can take some of that brown. Again, we want a shadow to go with our tree. Okay. And he looks, I don't know, I'm kind of proud of this little tree that I have. Not bad, right? The other tree that I've actually gotten, I will say better at, but probably not necessarily the truth. There are days I think, oh, I've got this tree, and it's just a regular pine tree that goes all the way to the ground, like when you think of a Christmas tree. And I will totally nail it. And then the next time I do one, I think, But the fun thing, and I keep telling my sister Deb this, nothing in nature looks perfect. So, if it's not perfect, it's, it's going to be great because that's nature. They're not like, picture perfect, so to speak. So what I do for these, I just start coming down on the sides with that needly look and filling in as I go. And I am not doing a great job on this one. See what I get for bragging. Oh, I can do this one. And I'm just coming down with that needle effect. And I'm going to come down quite a bit. And you can see I'm coming straight down. And the reason I'm doing that is because if you're trying to get like a lifelike looking tree, you're not just going to have things coming off the edges of it or two sides of it. You're going to have things all the way around it. So then you can come back and kind of fill in on the other sides. So it looks like it's more dimensional, 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, 2, I don't know. So coming down there and just filling in as we go. I did like a lot of Christmas cards last year. Everybody wanted the cute little snow globes with the Christmas tree inside and the snow on it. And I actually got pretty good at these. Kind of. And I think I got sick of making them. It's like, whew, enough trees. But the cards all turned out good. Okay, so there. He doesn't look bad. He could be a little more full, I guess. But again, nature doesn't really make them that way. That's just real simple. You could fill in a whole row of those. I don't know. You could make them better. I could make them better. That's not my best one. He doesn't look, I don't know, he doesn't look terrible, but I'm not crazy about him either. Gosh, my brush is full, and this is where I messed up. Okay. I think my brush may just be a little bit too long for this, and I'm trying to push. You know what I mean? When you're trying to get those little lines going, and I don't know. Just keeping it going back and forth. Filling in a little bit more in some places than the other, because that's going to be how nature is as well. Some places are going to be darker than others as you fill it in. Okay. Yeah, he's not my favorite either. Okay, so I stink at those trees. But that's my take on trees, guys. So far, my favorite is this guy up here. He looks pretty good. You can do this with any trees, with any color, really. You don't have to like limit yourself to certain greens. I know, my shadows need work too today, apparently. But my whole point of this video, guys, is to show you that no matter how good you are at something, you can always be better. The thing is, you practice, 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 practice. And even when you practice, you can still mess up. I don't always throw my stuff away. I do a lot of it in the practice book. Sometimes I just do them on cards, like I showed you earlier, like these. These are all practicey ones. And I save them. I put the date on the back and I save them to see how far I've come. You know, it's not a bad idea because you can look back. I look back a couple years ago at some of my stuff and I think, wow, a second grader did this. No, it was me. It was Liz. But guys, I hope you pick up some tricks. Keep practicing. If you like what I'm doing here, please like and subscribe. And I'll catch you later.